What's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is the Saab 9.5 and this is the last Saab to be produced by Saab. Well, I say that, but it's kind of along with the 9.4X crossover SUV thing. I don't know which was last, probably this one. I do know that less than 1,000 units were made of the 9.4X, so it is probably this one, but either way, no one really talks about the 9.4X. Everyone talks about the Saab 9.5 being the last Saab, so we're going to review that today. Now let's get into the review. So when it comes to the exterior, I really like the front. I think the grille is a little bit too big, but otherwise I think everything is placed really well. It is well designed, the front. The side, unfortunately, I cannot say the same. It's a bit bland, but where it's not bland, it's odd and unusual. The back looks a little too long. When I say a little too long, I mean the boot line. It looks a bit too long. I know it's a big saloon car, but still it just doesn't look right from the side. The rear I really like. Besides those semi fake exhausts, which have a hole in them, so I can't call them fully fake, and those fog lights that are right down there. As you know, I don't like that. But the headlights, oh my god, they look good. Two LED strips that go across the boot with the Saab writing right in the middle, and the writing stops either side, and it carries on into the left and right. Normally I'm not a fan of light bars, but this really works. I really like the design of this. The interior, well, I never thought I'd say this, but this is probably the only car that works with a dark plastic interior. It just looks so cool and smooth. I really like it. Plus the green in the sat-nav and the gauge cluster with the needles, it's a change, and it brightens it up a bit. And I have to say, everything seems to be roughly laid out well. It is a little bit low, but it looks really cool. Something I don't like is that one of the passenger vents is right next to the driver's side vent, so it looks a bit odd just having a single vent on its own and two in the middle. It just doesn't look a bit right to me personally. But the performance, and well, get some popcorn and make your bed and go to sleep, because we're going to be here forever. Normally I'm not going to show you every single engine and power output there is, otherwise we will be here forever. But just this once, I don't know why, I'm going to show you every one. There's not so many, but there's not so little. It's kind of in the middle, but it's still a lot anyway. So the first one is a 2.8 litre V6 turbo with 295 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. It weighs a very heavy 1,945 kilograms, and it only comes with a 6-speed automatic. 0 to 60 is 6.7 seconds, and the top speed is 155 miles an hour. So that is the most powerful engine and the most powerful petrol engine. And while we're on the subject of that, we're starting with the petrol engines. And we'll go down in size in petrol, and then we'll move off to diesel. But you know when it's diesel because I've written it down. But next is a 2 litre inline 4-cylinder with a turbocharger, 216 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. It weighs much less at 1,725 kilograms, and it comes with a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic. 0 to 60, 7.6 seconds, and the top speed is 149 miles an hour. The last petrol engine is only a 1.6, but once again it comes with a turbocharger. Inline 4 cylinders, 177 horsepower, 170 pound-feet of torque, weighs less at 1,695 kilograms, and once again 6-speed manual or 6-speed automatic. 0 to 60 is in 9.2 seconds, and the top speed is 137 miles an hour. And moving on to diesels. Both are 2 litres, but they're both different slightly. So the first one is a 2 litre inline 4-cylinder with a turbo, 157 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. It weighs 1,725 kilograms and has a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic once again. 0 to 60 is in 9.6 seconds and the top speed is 134 miles an hour. This diesel engine is a little bit different because it has two turbochargers, which is, I don't know, don't really expect such a thing on a Saab. I expect a turbo, but anyway. Same 2-litre inline 4-cylinder, but with 2 turbos, 187 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, which is the same amount of torque as the 2.8-litre turbo V6. Weighs in at 1835 kilograms and only comes with a 6-speed manual gearbox. 0 to 60 is 8.5 seconds and the top speed is 143 miles an hour. But the practicality. Well, it had a 513-litre boot, which was very big. It's a very good boot, but the only thing I would say is that because it is a saloon car like the WRX, getting to the front seats and pushing them down and then pushing something forward, it's not going to be easy because of the saloon body shape. But either way, the boot is a good size. And the Saab has a very long wheelbase, so the legroom is really good. And the headroom is also quite good unless you are the tallest of tall people like the Jolly Green Giant. Handling? Well, it handled pretty well for a car of this size. It was perfectly capable. However, if you pushed it a bit too much and if the corner was quite sharp and fast, it would suffer from quite a bit of lean in the corners. That obviously ruins the experience. But Saab had some buttons in the car that would change driving modes. I couldn't find a button, so I just found a random image. There are 3 modes to choose from, and if you chose a different one, the lean would be reduced and the handling would be a bit better. Is there anything else worth noting? And there's quite a bit here, to be honest. The first one is because this car was created during its ownership with GM, it is based on a Vauxhall/Opel, depending on where you're from, insignia. That means, because it's from General Motors, reliability is questionable in my opinion. General Motors doesn't have the best reliability, especially when it comes to cars. If we forget about pickup trucks, just about cars, as we know Vauxhalls are not that reliable, and they're General Motors. The Saab was very safe, for one reason, it was a Saab, and that was one of Saab's best features. It was absolutely safe. And this safetiness that Saab did all the time is where most of their money went to the safety of these cars. Because there aren't that many Saab 9.5s and because Saab aren't around anymore, parts are hard to come by. Like for example, buttons in the interior. It's going to be very hard to find like buttons in the interior, so do be wary of that if they fade or break. Not that this matters much, but at the end of Saab's life, they were owned by the Dutch company Spyker, and it didn't last long. I don't even know what happened, but there we are, it was once owned by Spyker for a little bit. And Saab had something called a night panel button, which was fitted to quite a lot of Saabs. What it would do is, when you press it, every light in the interior would shut off except for the speedometer. And when it comes to the gauges, not only did the lights go off, but the actual dials, they just dropped and died, to not distract you from anything besides the speedometer, and so that there's not much light coming right into your face when it's so dark. Some engines of the Saab came with all-wheel drive, so if you wanted, I don't know, a luxury slight rally car, then well, you had an all-wheel drive option to choose from, so that is a good thing. And for some reason it had screens in the back, or on the back of the front seats for the rear passengers. That's like Mercedes territory there. I don't know if they were any good, I don't know if they put much money or thought into it, but they were an option and there they are. So what is the verdict? Well, the pros are the front and rear look decent. The interior is really nice. There are various engines to choose from, as we've discussed. It is a very safe car, but a lot of Saabs, if not all of them, were very safe. There is a good amount of legroom, it handles alright for a car of its size, and it had a very big boot. However, the body would roll in certain corners. Parts are very hard to come by because it's a rare car now and Saab is pretty much non-existent now. The side profile is subpar at best, it's not brilliant. Being part of GM makes the reliability questionable, and that's something that would put me off, but I still like this car, to be honest. But anyway, that is the end of the review of this car. If you would like to check out my main channel. Oh, bye bye. Or not.
Darren, you're stupid.
Yeah, we can see.
Oh. No, Darren!
No, he's not okay. He's a bloody idiot. Then I will leave a link to that in the description below. Now, normally I play a game where the next slide is me putting a car that's blurred and I ask you to guess what it is and put it in the comments. But someone already put 2 cars he wants in the comments. So, next week I'm going to be doing the car that he put in the comments, and the week after will be the other car he put in the comments. So do look out for that. And if you also want a car that you want me to review, then leave it in the comments below. And if there is enough information on it, I will be happy to review it, as long as I haven't got anything before, otherwise you will have to wait a little bit. But anyway, I will see you guys next week. Peace.